figured we should take it back a little old school. It's still, in my opinion, one of the greatest WrestleMania theme songs of all time. These young kids don't know.
100%. Yeah, they don't know about the WrestleMania theme song.
No fucking idea. I mean, this really got you excited. Whenever you heard this just after the Rumble, you got super excited for what was coming.
Oh, yeah, and then I even like the other one.
Games, over-the-top announcements.
I like the Mania, WrestleMania. Remember that one? God. Good stuff.
Hey, go ahead.
Well, we've got a guest here for those of you who can see the little squares on the bottom here.
The little squares.
I mean, that's the only way I can tell. I don't know. I'm assuming that's on the YouTube. When you watch live, you can see all the little people.
It comes up on the bottom. You get those little boxes, and then when you're watching it and that person's speaking, they become the full screen.
Right. So there's an extra. Usually we only have a couple. So we've got an extra on here. First of all, we don't get that many guests, so in advance, thank you for attending. All you have to do is not die on the air or suffer a horrible injury. And you're going to be a good guest. That's really the bar is low. One time we had the Stroke call in, and he called in from, let's just say he called in from parts unknown, from a phone booth in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So he would go into a story, and it was probably a really good story, but all we heard was about 3 seconds of a 5-minute story. Because he'd go well, the thing is, and then he'd laugh. So we laugh.
And then he dropped off the whole fucking thing completely and had to sign back in.
Holy shit, it was great.
Awesome.
That will not happen. Do us a favor.
I will say this, though. The Stro did actually reach out to me on my birthday. So
he's the man. The
Stro's awesome. He's a good dude.
All right, so for our guests, please introduce yourself and plug your show. We'll plug it a few times throughout and have people fucking sick of it by then. But get the first one out of there.
I promise not to break out or break up or do any of that stuff. But thanks for having me on the show for one, guys. Really do appreciate this.
Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, no worries. Big fan of your show. I've been listening to it for a while.
Oh, wow. Appreciate that.
Yeah, name's Kyle, fellow Canadian. Amanda. Literally an hour away, I think, out of Toronto. But from No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, we do a wrestling podcast, review NXT. We do news on the weekend. We used to do Raw and SmackDown, but a lot of time constraints with me and my co-host, Corporate Cappy. But we love doing NXT.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, and if you haven't heard the show, seriously, it's very well done. You guys do a great job. Where can people find your show? How can they check it out?
We are on YouTube. We got video versions of the podcast, youtube.com/NHBWR. Or if you want to listen to us on the go, we're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher Radio, and we're on this awesome podcast app called Spreaker, which I found a couple of years back. And really, really cool podcast app. You can actually chat live on the air, and it'll come up on our screen, and we can chat with you guys back. You can listen to previous episodes of the podcast, and then whenever I upload on there, it'll automatically send it to Stitcher and iTunes.
Damn.
Really Ryan, cool, are you taking notes?
I was going to say, you're going to have to give all this shit to Ryan. So
I was actually going to say, if I could, I'm going to talk to him afterwards.
You're going to pick his brain. That's okay.
That's what the intern's for. He's going to pick the brain, take notes, and he's going to make shit happen.
Actually, it's awesome. They give you a whole dashboard, too. It's legit.
All right. So you might see us on Spreaker in a couple weeks.
And iTunes and fucking everywhere else. We were just talking about that too.
Yeah, we need to do all that, and we need to get more guests on as well, because we do enjoy having guests. It's just that we don't get them frequently enough. So it's good to have another voice in here, another person with some insight. So
especially another Canadian.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's right.
There are literally millions of you.
Only millions.
Yeah, only what's the population of Canada? Like 2-3 million? No.
32, something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you guys are plugging along. Okay. That's good. That's like the size of Detroit. We're like one bad part of New York.
35.8
million. Getting there. Keep procreating, you crazy kids. So what should we start with for wrestling?
Well, I think we should start with Fastlane, right?
I
Yep.
think that is a good place to start as any. I think that was for the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, which is usually a bullshit waste of time pay-per-view. It was actually fun.
You know what? Every single match, in my opinion, delivered in that pay-per-view.
They all worked hard.
Every match, it was designed to do exactly what was done. It was told well. The wrestlers did a great job. The storytelling was great, and the finishes were pretty fucking decent. And that's usually, we sit here all the time and we talk about, man, this pay-per-view was great, but the finishes sucked. And I don't think there was one that I was really upset about the finish. So it was well done, and you know what? It got you very excited for Mania because a lot of questions were answered, and now WrestleMania is finally taking shape. And it's listen, it's the exciting time to be a wrestling fan. This is our Super Bowl. This is our New Year's. And
absolutely.
This is my Graceland, sir.
This is what we wait all year for, and it's always exciting because the build up, and then you got Mania, and then you got the Raw after Mania, which is usually as good as Mania, and then that sets the whole tune for what's to come for the year, and it's just an exciting time. So Fastlane did a great job; it delivered, and I couldn't be happier with the pay-per-view.
I agree, and I purposely didn't wish Steve a happy birthday until John Cena lost. I wanted to make sure that he did, in fact, have a happy birthday before I wished him a happy birthday. Then they called out The Undertaker, and we just went into a whole – Cena called out The Undertaker on Monday night, and we went into a whole rabbit hole today of last night, I suppose, whether or not Kid Rock was going to play American Badass for The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
God, I hope so.
And if you see, okay, I'm not the only. Now, here's the deal. Eric, his little bald head is about to turn red and explode. He's going to look like a Warheads logo, okay? He's going to look like a little packet of Warheads with his head exploding. He said so, and I've never really heard Eric to say an unkind thing about anybody. He's kind of a Jewish grandmother in adult form.
Call me Grandma Eric. By the way.
My goodness. I didn't realize people
call me
fix that. Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say, if just like your friends call you Grandma Eric, we got to have a talk. Yeah. But he's never really said a bad thing about anybody, and he just had some terrible things to say about Kid Rock last night. Oh, man. It was rough.
If you saw MVP's tweet, he tweeted the same thing I was thinking, too. So I feel validated.
Oh, good. So you and MVP are on the same. You and him were in the same cell block, apparently. Good. I'm glad you guys get along.
All in.
All right. So we have two distinct opinions on Kid Rock here. There's the this would be so cool camp, and then we have Team Eric, who's like fucking.
And here's my thing. Like I actually. There are quite a number of songs of Kid Rock's that I actually do enjoy, and I have no problem with him performing because his performances are pretty fucking awesome. Where I do agree with Eric, and I said this in the chat because we've been talking about this for a while, but to me, the whole dead man walking American Badass Undertaker to me was the coma years for the Undertaker. So to me, the Undertaker was always the dead man. He was always the Undertaker. And the whole American Badass thing for me, were there some decent moments like Undertaker, Jeff Hardy, of course, things like that. But overall, I fucking hated it. And I didn't like the biker shit. It just, none of that worked. Steve
was at that Smackdown that Hogan stole Taker's bike and he couldn't get it started.
Dude, it was hilarious. They had to cut to commercial because he stalled out on the rampway, and then Hogan just hops off and he runs up the ramp. Hilarious. Wow. And I was like 10 feet from Hogan.
Now the suggestion, and I want to put it
once.
Yeah, seriously, you can't if you're on live TV or whatever, and you're trying to start a bike. Come on, man. No. So I had a couple things that we need to make clear here regarding Kid Rock. Opinions of him aside, we have a friend named Mike Bennett, aka the Miracle, aka a former member of the Kingdom, former ROH Tag Team Champion, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion, etc.
I did
He's
see
a
that tweet.
huge Kid Rock fan, and
Yeah.
if you don't know him personally, you wouldn't really know that unless he told you. He's a huge Kid Rock fan. So we're gonna put this out in the universe. Have him induct Kid Rock.
We should start
Please.
we should start a petition.
The Miracle Mike Bennett Canellis, whatever you want to call him, should induct Kid Rock because he is the world's biggest Kid Rock fan. Back when he was in,
He's Mike Bennett.
yeah, when he was in OVW,
Yeah.
he was in OVW, and then when he came back up to the Indies here, he used Kid Rock as his entrance.
I mean, who else
Right.
would? Who else would induct Kid Rock?
This is true.
Well, you could have the Undertaker do it, I
They
guess.
get Joe.
Oh, God.
They get the ghost of Joe C.
Oh.
Hornswoggle dresses up like Joe C and does the whole speech.
Oh man.
Oh, that's horrible.
Too soon. He
Have
died
Kid
like 20
Cash
years
come
ago.
out.
Or like a Prince hologram.
That's
They're
a
going
big
to do that for Lemmy. That's how they're going to induct Lemmy. We'll mode ahead, and I'm going to kick your ass. Somebody change the batteries in this projector.
Have Vanguard 1 not project them.
Yes. Okay, there we go. We have the solution. Vanguard 1 just projects all the dead guests for the Hall of Fame. Yes. Finally.
Oh dear Lord.
Hey, so I know we're kind of jumping around a lot, but I want to rewind a little bit back to Fastlane because I do have
pay-per-view.
well, because I one question I do have. So, you know what's funny? We have our pick'ems ourselves that we do, and my gut was telling me Orton wins.
Yep.
Rematch is at Mania, and
Same.
that's when Bobby
That's
Roode wins
why I
it back.
picked it.
Yeah.
And I went against my gut, and I'm so pissed.
Oh no.
I went
I went with
against
Bobby
it.
Roode, but I'm very happy with Orton finally getting the shot.
Congratulations to Randy Orton.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do think Bobby Roode takes it back at Mania.
Yeah.
Makes
Or
sense.
Jinder. I can see Jinder winning.
No.
I honestly
no,
can see
no.
Jinder winning it.
Really?
That's a good
You
possibility.
Get this.
Canadians stick together.
What?
Putting that aside, I can actually see Jinder winning though.
I never
I don't know
said
why.
anything. I don't want Jinder to win anything. That is not a Canadian thing. No.
I mean, listen, Jinder is the sleeper pick for sure. I mean, it would be the
He's the
shock
butcher
value of
sleeper.
Mania.
He
I mean,
was my pick before Orton won, and now I'm keeping it as Orton coming out of Mania's
The
champion.
Goon Mania crowd, he'd get a massive reaction if Jinder won. You know the crowd would be so behind him winning.
There should be a guy in a mask that hops the rail, runs in, and super kicks Jinder, and Bobby Roode gets the cover and wins the title back, and the mask comes off.
Sorry.
About your damn.
Oh my God.
Yes. That would be so fucking awesome.
Beer money
Not
needs
gonna
to happen in the WWE. If we can get the
Oh,
broken universe, we can get beer money.
Yes, seriously.
I feel
how
like
great
we're
would
gonna
that
get-
be?
We're gonna get one of those James Storm interviews in about 20 years. Remember when Terry Funk signed with one of the indie hardcore ECW reunions, and instead of doing ECW One Night Stand, and then he did a shoot interview, he was like, I should have taken the money. That's gonna be James Storm in like 10 or 15 years doing an interview. So you went back to TNA instead of NXT.
Well,
What-
Jim, everything you're hearing
I
is
did it
that,
for the money. No,
Well, everything you're hearing is that James Storm is on his way back. It's just a matter of, if they put him
I
back.
hope so. He's got a big upside. I think even at his age, he's still got a big upside.
Absolutely. I'm a big James Storm.
Yeah, he's the man. But speaking of going with your gut, there was something telling me don't pick the babyface women's tag team because Becky's just gonna get the pin. Becky's gonna eat a pin again on pay-per-view in a meaningless tag team match. I'm like, no, they wouldn't do that again. But no, she is very firmly in the Ricky Steamboat spot. She is the Steamboat of that division where it's like, oh, we're gonna trust me. We're gonna go. Come on, we're going to tag team. Oh no, I got pinned again. It's like, come on, man. What the fuck? She's the best, one of the best wrestlers on the show, and they have her as such a jackass character, getting beat by everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't understand if that's because there's such a bottleneck at the top of the card. I mean, she is good, but then if she's in the main event scene, Asuka can't be there against Charlotte, so you got to move her down for that. You can't move her to Raw because Raw is so heavy with Alexa and Nia and Nikki and Rhonda now, and all the other girls in it. So there's really no spot for Becky. She's kind of in limbo.
True.
What was up with her outfit? What was that
For the
about?
longest time, I
Always
was trying
changes.
to decide if it was cats, dinosaurs, or fire.
It had to be fire. I mean, that's
Yeah,
that's her
then
thing.
It looked like Bam Bam's outfit.
Yeah.
Bam Bam, yeah. Well, there apparently everybody's watching old Bam Bam tapes because Rollins has the same deal going on,
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
which is good because Bam Bam needs to get more love from mainstream fans. He's
At
one
least
of those
it's
guys.
incorporated into his theme, though. The whole burn it down.
Burn it down. They missed an opportunity in the middle of that song to play "Burn It Down" again.
Yeah.
They should just keep it in there. And I know it loops, it's for TV, and they want more music and less vocal. I don't care. It's a song. If a song has words, a song has words. Put the words in. I wouldn't have minded it when they did. It wasn't Downstate. I think it was somebody else did a cover of "Burn It Down," and it had words.
Yeah, I remember hearing
Just
that.
do it. Leave that. That's fine. But we won't complain about Seth Rollins' music because it'll probably just change in 3 or 4 months. Again, they'll just tweak it as they've been doing it. But the pay-per-view really was great. Everybody put in work. I don't think there was a match that wasn't well wrestled. The only one, the only thing was the Ricky Steamboat finish for Becky because she's just eating pins left and right now and getting turned on by people and held, her tag team partners not abandoning her, but just not there for her and all that. So that's her lot in life. But I think every other finish was about what you expected because Shinsuke had to win to look good going into Mania. AJ had to win or else that fucking program goes nowhere because you can't have I don't think you could have such a hard left turn where you go, all right, we're doing a title change 4 weeks before Mania. Shinsuke is going to take on Dolph Ziggler. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
Shinsuke and Rusev was my favorite match of the card.
That was such a good match.
It was.
Rusev
did
really good.
looked good too.
Yeah, even losing, Rusev looked good. He did that.
He gave him a fight, and it was close.
There was the Kinshasa. Shinsuke went for the Kinshasa, but then ate a super kick from Rusev.
Oh,
that was a nice little false
kick.
I will say this though. I was kind of surprised that was the match to kick off the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that was surprising.
I wasn't expecting to see Shinsuke kick off.
I picked the tag team to open the show.
Yeah,
that was actually my pick too.
I thought we were going to hear
they've
Big
done that.
do his line right at the opening of the show, get the crowd into it.
Yeah, and I guess they figured maybe the singles match would accomplish the same thing, but it's like I feel like they've changed their philosophy, and maybe it was around the time of Edge retiring, where the first match is not as important as the main event, but it's an important match in terms of they'll put a world title there, or they'll put a Royal Rumble there now. They're not afraid to say, well, this is the opening match. Let's have a big match for the opening match. And then
it also sets the tone. You know what I mean? Like, the Shinsuke is going to get the crowd fired up. Rusev is so fucking over right now. He's going to get the crowd going. So, and as long as you have a strong match right after it to keep the momentum going, I guess it does work, from that respect.
I feel like if the next year, and we're going to wrap up all the stories basically at WrestleMania, if they don't set up this next year to clear the way for guys like Braun Strowman and Rusev, I don't know what they're doing. Those two guys should be the focus of going into SummerSlam for their respective brands. I have no clue what they're going to do with Braun. Is Elias going to have to be the wacky mismatched tag team partner?
I have a dark horse pick for that.
Who's it?
Go for it.
Lars Sullivan.
Ooh.
But I accidentally read a report, and you already know where he's going to be slotted. But he could do both.
Did they already announce who it is going to be? Have you read who?
The ladder match for the new title. Yeah, I've seen who all 6 competitors are going to be.
So it does show who Braun's tag team partner is going to be.
Oh, I meant for NXT. So
for NXT. Okay. Right. I got you.
So it won't be Lars because he's in the NXT. Well, I mean, unless he doesn't go over.
I'll tell you. First of all, I love what they're doing with Braun going into the tag match and destroying. I'll tell you. I think why not Big Show?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Right?
Isn't his contract up though?
I don't know. I saw a recent video of Big Show. He was training in a gym, and he looked at the camera and he said something like, "I ain't done yet," or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of a tease. And what better team, kind of like Big Show comes back and says, "I respect you for what you did to me." I mean, can you imagine that fucking team?
Oh,
Kane and Big Show all over again.
Holy shit!
they can hold those belts for a fucking year.
Yeah.
Nobody would. They have to shoot them to get the
tranquilizers or something. There's no way they could ever lose.
Elephant tranquilizer.
What if
Didn't they do that to Big Show once with the tranquilizer?
I think they did. Well, I know JBL got tranquilized one time and fought Godzilla in the middle of the ring, aka a stuffed or an inflatable Godzilla.
I think you'd have to bring up War Machine if they had no plans for them to take them down.
Yeah, it would be War Machine and or Heavy Machinery and or all four of them beating up two
or
guys
AOP.
Yeah, just bring them all up to take out one team.
I mean, you guys do realize in one shot they're going to call up War Machine and they're going to call up Donovan. And I mean, I'm so excited even for those three. Ricochet, I heard that he's going to 205, which whatever.
And Leo, right? Leo Rush is going to 205.
Yeah. Hunter's controlling it now, so I have faith.
I hope so.
I'm pulling for and tonight I have to root for him tonight too, but I think that might be a foregone conclusion. The Queen City's finest, Cedric Alexander, is trying to make a run for it. I've known Cedric for a very long time.
I fucking love that kid.
I would love to see him win his first WWE championship at WrestleMania. It would
he totally deserves it
because he does, and I've known him for probably 10 years now. So it would be really, really special.
Probably be him and Ali. Ali's been having like these unreal promos on Twitter that he's been releasing.
That kid's fantastic.
Yeah. And those promos are so good. I don't know if anyone's seen them on Twitter. He's been releasing them on his Twitter, like video versions of them. Oh my God, they're so good. They're so good.
He doesn't have to have the stupid graphics pop up with every word. Right. We're gonna start doing that on this show, but it would just say "fuck" a lot.
Lock down.
We just emphasize the swear words.
Every time Eric talks, it would just say "fuck Kid Rock" popping up. When he said "fuck Kid Rock" in the messages, I said he went platinum 7 times. Had to quote lyrics at him. It's funny that we're not really talking about the main event of that pay-per-view, but I guess it's because it was such a foregone conclusion 3 weeks out that why do we even need to talk about the main event?
Well, you know what, though? Yes and no, because at the same time, when Cena got thrown in the mix and everyone started saying, all right, now hold on, is this Taker thing really not going to happen? And is this going to go the way? My feeling is, we talked about this, Vince, I think you even said it, and I agree with you. The minute they even threw it out to the universe as a possibility, that was signed, sealed, and delivered, and that's the way they were going.
Yeah, you can't back off. Once you say that, you can't back off of that.
And Cena, I'll tell you, man, I stand my ground on what I said about Taker and the whole deal, but I will say this. If there's somebody that'll get you excited about that match, Cena's promo work is just so goddamn good.
That was so good.
It was a good promo.
So good.
And then you look at the other side of the coin and you see fucking Roman Reigns. Hi, Kat. I'm so sorry, Roman, and I know we've shit on you for a long time. You are a nice guy and your promos are getting better and you do a lot of work for Make-A-Wish. I am in no way excited for this match. I just am not excited.
No, I'm with you. And he's going to win. I mean,
he's going to win and everybody's going to boo and Michael Cole's going to go, and the WWE Universe goes wild for Roman Reigns.
The big dog.
See, now I come in just to say fuck Roman Reigns.
There we go.
Yes.
Because Eric is part of the fuck Kid Rock party, so now we have the fuck Roman Reigns.
Oh, I'm part of that party too. No, I'm part of Eric's party too.
There we go.
That's why I just jumped on when I realized I had internet, because I came to be Eric's tag team partner in the fuck Kid Rock party.
Oh, everybody's hating on poor Kid Rock.
You're the wolf pack.
That's right, baby. That's right. 25 years strong.
I can't believe you guys have known each other for that long. But
so there's one thing you missed with Michael Cole. You'd go, the big dog is in his yard.
Yeah, he would say something about it is his yard now. Use hashtag whose yard is it to vote on whose yard it is and have your fucking Twitter handle.
Pardon me while I bang my head up against the wall.
But you just know it's going to happen. It's like, use the hashtag last ride to document Undertaker's final match. Oh, God, it's so hacky. Just stop.
I hate
Well, Vince, look on the bright side. Vince, there's one big bright side to this. We don't have to hear the commentary.
This is very true. I'm going to be there. I don't have to hear a single word of Michael Cole.
That's right. We don't have to hear a damn word Michael Cole says, so it's a good night for us.
Absolutely.
So jealous.
As long as that match doesn't go on last, the Roman Reigns one or John Cena. I don't think the WWE Championship
should be the final.
Should be the main event match.
Yeah.
Period. It is the WWE Championship. It should be your main event. And I know it's changed, and I'm an old fuck at 31 years old, but
oh, shut up.
You know what I'm saying?
31.
But it's the biggest match goes on last. But yeah, I get it. But the biggest match should be the world title match. And these two guys who are arguably going to go out there and try and put on a 5-star match, and
given enough time too,
right? And at least they're going to try and go out there and beat the quality of their last match at Wrestle Kingdom 2 years ago.
They had them tweeting saying the main event and like capitalizing.
Good.
Yes.
Did you see the poster that had Shinsuke? That had the Snickers sponsorship right next to Shinsuke's name.
Snickers.
So it looked like the phenomenal AJ Styles and Shinsuke Snickers Nakamura. That was like the perfect placement of a Snickers logo.
Yeah,
so then he went on Twitter. He called himself Shinsuke Snickers Nakamura. That's gonna be
enough Snickers.
It's a big promotion with Snickers.
Right? Who knows? Yeah, he's getting paid now. What was it? Speaking of Snickers.
WWE has that
Snickers,
apparently Derby handed out Snicker bars to people last night at the arena because of Ronda not being there, and that's
right.
Why they did it. They're like, "Oh, Ronda's not gonna be here. Here's Snicker bars."
Here's some Snickers.
That's Snickers. Don't be a prick.
Because, I mean, honestly, and I appreciate that she was scheduled to work every single Raw until WrestleMania.
But she wasn't, though. She wasn't there last night.
Right. But what are they going to do? They already booked the match. They already set the angle in motion. Unless she's wrestling, what else is she going to do? Oh, I'm going to get you in 3 weeks. I'm going to get you.
You know what they should have done? She should have gotten jumped from behind or taken, like something should have happened.
They should have put heat on her because that would be the way, and that would help even sell. Because listen, this one's another foregone conclusion. If Angle and Ronda don't win, I'll be very, very, very surprised. Because
I'm telling you right now, it ends in a double submission. Ronda will have like the arm bar, Angle will have the ankle lock. They'll tap at the same time. That's how it's going to end.
Guys, I'm sorry, my lights are flickering again, so I have to sign off. I don't want to lose power and cut off in the middle of you guys, but want to say give my love.
All right, stay safe.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Right,
talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh man, that's rough. The Repo Man took her power.
Repo Man.
And he just goes in. So where were we? Because Cat dropped in and then left.
I think we originally started the main event of Fastlane.
The main event of Fastlane, we did. That was, and then we went on a tangent. Welcome to the show. That's what we do. But
tangents.
But the main event. So similarly to how the main event of Fastlane kind of didn't have a question until I guess they threw in until they threw in John Cena, and then I still thought Styles was going to win. Yeah. This Ronda thing, throw a little question mark into it, Steve. You're right. Get some heat on her. Have somebody jump her.
Have Steph use Triple H's traditional sledgehammer.
Yeah, do something. I mean, just
lay her out.
They could have paid off the Absolution members to take her.
That's any number of things. Yeah,
plants the seeds for Ronda versus Sonya for that whole MMA thing. That would be perfect first opponent for Ronda.
Well, you know what? They could have done it too, where whoever it is masked or whatever, and then it's the videotape finally comes out after Mania, and that sets up her next feud. Or there were so many opportunities, I guess, there that they could have gone with, but. Listen, they know what they're doing with Ronda. I'm sure it would have been, I was under the impression we were getting Ronda every single week. That would have been a great way to do it.
Yeah. And I agree, but I think they had to have something for her to do. And that's probably why they were like, well, we could just show her, but that's not going to, they just didn't have anything for her to do this week. So I get it. Should we answer some of these fan questions?
Ooh,
since we have,
I don't know if you guys will have it, but someone sent one in for me, but I don't know if they tagged you in it or they just sent it to.
We can still Twitter. Do it. We'll give them credit for it. Unless we just steal. It's such a good question. We'll steal it.
Did Kat give us all the all the questions?
Yeah, it looks like she sent us a couple screenshots. One from that was Amanda sent a screenshot of Twitter, and then Kat sent one for Hall of Fame. Medulla asked a question about the Hall of Fame. Yep. It looks like we have and then another from a man named Hu Tran. Hu Tran Superman. I like this guy already. So
he follows my podcast. I know that guy.
Awesome. So we've got you're helping us gain new listeners already. There we go. So I guess we'll start from in the group messenger. I'll start from the top. So we have Gilly. Looks like Greg the Gamer _
That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah, Gilly. So what did you think about Cena's promo on Taker? Do you think Taker will actually come back, or is he done in terms of wrestling? He's got you can't do this to people.
Yeah, you can't make that big of a promo and not come.
I still get this sick feeling that they're gonna. He's not gonna be back. They're just gonna keep doing this, and then I don't know. Maybe Cena will end up being Braun Strowman's partner.
Oh no! I mean, again, I don't see there's any good.
I'd rather that than see Taker get back in the ring, honestly. So
yeah. Well,
have you seen him on his wife's Instagram?
That was the best line of that whole.
That was the shot, which tells me that Taker's definitely gonna.
And it's kind of the way his promo was. The speculation on the from internet fans is that he's going to be the American Badass or the Biker Undertaker because John Cena's bringing up real life stuff.
No.
So you know how he's not talking about the dead man and all that. He's bringing up like stuff that's actually happened. So it seems like maybe they're setting that up. I don't know.
No.
At that point, you might as well just bring back Thugonomics John Cena.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
With the old theme. This is basic Thugonomics. Yeah, okay.
So,
I'm okay.
You think you're untouchable?
Word life.
You just do a throwback, man. Like we get the New Day's cardboard time machine. We go back 15 years.
No, 2009 was my best year.
That segment stunk. That was the line of the year. 2009 was my best year. That was the best line of that whole.
Looks like there's trouble in paradise.
The idea that I had for to try and make everybody happy, and it's a wacky one, but hear me out here. This might be for something in the Attitude Era, or it might be for like a Japanese promotion to do. But I have Kid Rock start playing American Badass, and the Undertaker rides out on his motorcycle, but then like hits a jump or something, and then flies into a big explosion. Like he was a living person who then crashed his bike and it exploded and he's dead. And then that just as soon as the explosion explodes, the arena goes dark, and then you get the gong, and then the druids carry out a casket, and he comes out of the casket as the dead man. Oh, no. So he started as the American Badass, but then he had a terrible accident on the way to the ring.
He has a long entrance to begin with. That'd probably be the longest one of all time.
It would be a WCW mini movie.
Yeah.
We could have Cheatham the Leprechaun screw with the brakes on the motorcycle beforehand. And Sid Vicious and flip-flops can try and warn the Undertaker, but it's not going to happen.
And Sting on the beach.
Kids, you need to go and look up Beach Blast on the WWE Network because we're live for this.
For $9.99.
Spin the wheel, make the deal. Any of those old WCW mini movies are absolutely worth it. I watched that. I watched that last week.
Was it Sting and Jake the Snake?
Yes, WHW Mondays with Tony Schiavone. They say they're ending the podcast in a couple weeks. I'm very depressed about that. But they did an episode where they watched along with that entire was that the White Castle of Fear, the Spin the Wheel, whatever it was. It was one of those. I think it was Starrcade 91. It was, the whole thing was just a mess. That match was a mess with the coal miner's glove, and then they tried to get the snake to bite Jake on the face, but you could tell Jake was just like gently pressing the snake up against his cheek, and the thing wasn't biting. And then finally he got it annoyed to the point where it bit him, but it stuck on his face for too long. The whole thing was just like, it was so WCW, and I love WCW, but it was just so WCW. So yes, the question to loop back around: if the Undertaker doesn't show up, it's a hell of a swerve, but it's also, you've been promising this for a couple weeks now, and it'll feel like you hyped this thing up and then just kind of took it away.
And Cena's promo was phenomenal.
It was, and he's not the funny thing is, you can tell this is like the closest they'll even get to a heel turn with him.
Yeah.
But he's acknowledging, he's like, I'm saying these things like a bad guy would say, but I'm not a bad guy. I'm saying it because I know that that's how I'm going to egg you on. Like it's levels that they don't usually do in wrestling, which is nice.
Now here's a swerve. When do we first see The Undertaker?
What do you mean? When I get inside and grab a soda and wait 3 hours at the Superdome, that's how long.
You don't think we see him till then? I mean, like, when do you think he shows up on Raw?
I want to say he's going to show up on Raw, but
he's got to.
But I mean,
because now we have 3 weeks.
We do, so maybe he's going to show up one of them, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. But there's no guarantee. We did a whole Bray Wyatt had a feud with a rocking chair for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wasn't that 31 that he never showed up on Raw until
Yep.
Yeah, it stunk.
I was at the 2 weeks out of Mania Raw for that one.
And was that the rocking chair promo?
That was the rocking chair.
Oh, goodness.
And lightning that caught it on fire and
lightning.
No, every time. Can we talk? All right, they've learned how to put words on the screen. You'd think the WWE would know how to fucking do lightning. They've been doing lightning, the crappiest looking lightning.
I cannot stand the writing, the ship.
I can't either.
Oh my god, it's horrible. What the hell is the? Oh no.
And they push it so much on SmackDown more than Raw.
Yeah, they do.
It's almost like Kevin.
And they put it on Raw with Strowman.
Yeah, and they get these hands. Like they even do it for those guys. You don't need that guy doesn't need words on the screen.
I said piano.
He's 7 feet tall and 400 pounds. Let him do whatever the fuck he wants. He doesn't need words on the screen. But it's like somebody's kid was like, Dad, check out this Snapchat and all this shit. And they're like, the dad has never seen it before. And he's like, that's amazing. I'm going to go tell my boss, Kevin Dunn, about this. And then next thing you know, there's words on the fucking screen. Because somebody was like, branding. They just said branding a bunch of times and that they salivated because that's what they love branding so much. So thank you to Gilly, a.k.a. Greg the Gamer _ on Twitter for that question. I would be very surprised if they hype up The Undertaker for 6 weeks like this and don't deliver.
Right.
Medulla. Assalamu alaikum, Medulla. So let's see here. Let's come up with a criteria for the Hall of Fame. Wrestler has to headline more than 2 pay-per-views, has to hold a belt for a duration, or has to be a repeat defender or winner of a belt multiple times. Has to bring in X amount of dollars in merchandise. That's real inside. We would need to separate the jobbers like Hillbilly Jim versus Double J. Really? Come on, man. Hillbilly Jim is so much. Hillbilly Jim ranks above Double J. I'm sorry, Double J. I know you're the NWA champion, all that stuff, but Hillbilly Jim was still a bigger star, even though he didn't have any of the titles. The Hall is meant for the best of the best, not all of the rest. Well, I agree, but the problem is, as I said on the Facebook chat after I saw this email, that means the Great Khali is a potential future Hall of Famer.
Right.
If we use those,
merch sales might cut him off.
The one thing I do agree with is Mike's intention or Medulla's intention with this is more so to make it more of a prestigious thing than, anybody and their mother is going to get in one day. And that I kind of agree with. That's the main thing. So by having a certain criteria, it's going to be more of the elite that are going to be in it. And that I'm not totally against because it really should mean something.
But we're trying to add shoot criteria to a worked Hall of Fame.
Maybe less inductees a year.
Yeah, that's a good idea. They really should only do a couple per year because when you do a class of 8 or 10,
the issue is they're treating it like a show.
Yeah.
It is to try and bring, it's bringing people back into the fold and getting them to sign new deals, right? A new Legends deal, new merch for that.
And don't get me wrong, I love the Hall of Fame.
I do too. I just
do it every year, but he's not wrong. When when you want to make it something where people have to seriously earn their spot.
Yeah, and I think it should be on the really only criteria, and it's really hard to define, is impact on the business. And there's it's kind of like defining, like, I forget who it was that said it. I can't define pornography, but I'll know it when I see it. So you can't define who is a classic wrestler. Like you can't articulate that. But if I give you a name, you're gonna say it. Like Hulk Hogan, you feel it. Ric Flair, you feel it. Bastion Booger, not so much. TL Hopper, you know what the Goon. You just know that when you hear a name, and as much as we can shit on Double J for doing some stuff, Double J's held a lot of titles. He's worked for a very long time. He worked through Memphis. He worked for his dad. He worked all the way up into the WWF and WCW. He became a world champion several times over. He started TNA. His impact on wrestling at large is big, and I understand why they would, as long as they acknowledge his time outside of the WWF, because his WWF runs weren't that long and they weren't that good. But if they acknowledge the contribution of founding TNA, starting that second competition that gets AJ Styles, gets Samoa Joe, gets Bobby Roode from nobody independence onto TV, and then they move on to bigger and better things. That's great. Hillbilly Jim was with Hogan, and we talked about Hillbilly Jim last week, and he was a big deal at the time. It's hard to explain or understand the draw of a guy like Hillbilly Jim in 2018. The only thing I can compare him to is he was a friendlier Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
You know, that's I don't know how else to articulate that, but he was.
I think No Way Jose is a Dominican Hillbilly Jim.
There you go. And you know what? Have him come up and tag team with Braun.
Oh, God.
Who would be the worst? How about Ellsworth? Would Ellsworth be a good mystery partner for Braun?
Ellsworth would be pretty funny.
They could do the twisted bliss finish where Ellsworth jumps off his shoulders.
Any man with these hands.
Now, okay, I would actually really like a group, a faction of Alexa, Ellsworth, and Braun just carries them to the ring like Andre used to do with the Showgirls, one on each shoulder, just coming in. Oh, be beautiful. So thank you, Medulla. And I agree, Medulla, there should be a criteria, but I don't know if we can put a hard fact criteria on it. It's got to be some kind of worked criteria, like it's really business impact and how much they contributed to the entertainment.
Like, look at the Bushwhackers. They were the low-level guys, but they were over as hell.
Exactly. And and those are guys that you remember, and they weren't the best wrestlers. And their career outside of the WWF as the sheep herders when they worked in New Zealand and they were working all those hardcore matches and bleeding everywhere, that's a different time for them. And then they came in and they worked this simpler style in the WWF, and that's what they licked people and they got over. Who does that? So good for that. Like, you just remember, these are guys you remember.
These are people that my dad, who doesn't even watch wrestling, knows who the Bushwhackers are and remembers them.
Right.
That's what they mean to the business.
Yeah, so there's a combination of guys who were legitimate, like Bobo Brazil broke through the color barrier, became a big African-American superstar within wrestling that hadn't been seen before, et cetera, et cetera. He's a standard bearer. But then, yes, you get the guys like the Bushwhackers, who may not have set the world on fire, but they were there for a long time. They had memorable spots in like the Rumbles and all that. It was good stuff. So it's hard to say that you need to draw X amount of sell a certain number of T-shirts to be considered for the Hall of Fame. It's just a hard rubric to.
The standard bearer of the person that people hate the most in the Hall of Fame is Coco Beware.
Poor Coco. Poor Coco, the Birdman.
He's going to be at WrestleCon this year.
Man, are you going?
Yeah, I'm going.
Excellent. I haven't gotten tickets to the WrestleCon yet, probably because they're expensive, but I'm going to try and go. I'm going in more.
The thing is.
Yeah, it's the 3-day convention or 4-day convention leading up to WrestleMania. Yeah. So WrestleCon.
They announced today that Omega and Ibushi are going to appear now on Friday and Sunday.
Yeah, because they were only going to do one. They were only going to do one day, and they were working that tag team match against the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah,
and that's going to be a fucking barn burner. For those of you who aren't aware, WrestleCon.com it's a big convention every year. WrestleMania. They follow the same city, so it's in New Orleans. They split it up. The last 2 years, they've split it up, I believe, at least two years, where the convention is at a convention center. So there's like the Sheraton Hotel has the convention, and then there's this place called the Sugar Mill, which is a nice venue for wrestling. I was there for WrestleMania 30. The Sugar Mill is a nice venue. There's a pretty good seats everywhere. So I'm looking forward to that because there are a lot of big matches going on. House of Hardcore has a show. It seems like
awesome.
There are
They're doing
tons
it
of
an
promotions.
hour after Takeover. Like they're leaving you room to walk from Takeover to the Sugar Mill, so you can enjoy House of Hardcore right after Takeover.
Cool.
Yeah, and I can tell you, man, everything in New Orleans is within walking distance. And if not, you can grab one of those horse carriages or something. Everything's very close. So, because my hotel, I actually just changed hotels. Get this, we checked the hotel. Hotel was like a mile and a half from the Superdome. Found another one that was half that distance, so like 0.8 miles to the Superdome. They had room yesterday. How did they have room? Like they were sold. They were sold. We called the same hotel in November and they were already sold out. So somebody had to cancel and we just happened to be lucky.
So they announced Roman Brock and people started selling their tickets.
They're like, nope.
Right. Yes, sir. They saw or they were just so mad about John Cena not winning that match on the Fastlane that they're like, screw it. So thank you, whoever canceled your room. I will gladly use it and only walk 3/4 of a mile instead of a mile and a half.
I'll be driving down.
It's a good walk. It's such an easy walk, especially from the hotel that I'm staying at. It's like it's a straight shot.
You're driving up from Niagara Falls, right?
Yeah, we're driving all the way from up here down there, and then we're staying at an Airbnb house 10 minutes out of from the Superdome, so it's not too bad. Wow! But yeah, it's gonna be a big road trip.
That's an adventure.
We're making a sign for Ty Dillinger when we meet him at Access. It says we traveled so and so kilometers in Canadian distance.
Excellent.
Ty Dillinger, we want to sign it.
That's fantastic. He's great. And first of all, I had a friend who drove down last time at 30. He drove from Connecticut
should round
down
it
to
to
New Orleans.
10.
Yeah, round it up to something 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have a 10
Make sure
in
it's a
there.
10 then. All right.
How much room do you have in your car?
Actually, we have one space. There's only 3
Come
of us.
on, man. Come down with us.
Yeah.
Come on. Join the party.
Doing next year.
Yeah, next year's New York, so yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna be or New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make it back to back for sure.
Well, you guys all have plenty of places to stay if you all come to New York next year.
Excellent. So, next question's from Dan Knightley. Dan, I feel like Dan has asked questions before.
He has.
Excellent.
Daily and nightly.
Canadian.
He is another. They're invading us. We need a wall near Toronto and Ottawa. It's going to be huge. All right, so Dan Knightley says, why is Shane McMahon on my TV more than Becky Lynch? Yeah, I agree. Becky Lynch should be on my television a lot more than 2 hours a day. I would watch a Becky Lynch channel. She could be opening something with a can opener, and I would watch. Literally, that's a YouTube video. Actually, if you have
Shane's even appearing on Raw, man.
Yeah,
I popped for that. I was like, oh shit, Shane
under siege again.
The only thing I could think of is Shane picked up his upside 3 times this week because he's going to be pay-per-view and then 2 nights of TV. So he gets his talent upside 3 times for the 3 appearances. Like, good on you, buddy. You tripled up. But I like Shane. Shane is my favorite McMahon by a long shot. And I think I don't know. I always felt, because I was a young guy growing up and he was like the Shane, I felt a lot of camaraderie with Shane. When Shane was like, when he was choke slamming the Big Show and oh my god, that shit was fucking great. So I mean, how could you not love that guy? And I'm glad he's finally back on TV. But I agree, when you got a talent like a Becky Lynch, even like a Rusev has been getting the shaft on TV lately. He hasn't been I don't think he wrestled last week. He was complaining on Twitter how he doesn't get as many so it's just a very strange situation where you have a super over. So I know this is a new one. Unless you've been listening to the show, my immigrant Hulk Hogan gimmick for Rusev is eventually going to get over. Just super patriotic, very fortunate for all the things America gave him guy. That's going to happen. He's going to rip the T-shirt and people are going to go crazy. I hope. But
he's going to rip the T-shirt on Rusev Day.
Yes, a ripped T-shirt is a Rusev Day tradition now, apparently. But you've got Becky Lynch, you've got Rusev, you've got other people that are underused. is it just and you've got how many hours of programming every week? It feels like you can find a spot for these people or shuffle them around. Don't treat NXT like a demotion. Make it look like, oh, somebody from WWE is coming back to NXT to take the title with them, or whatever. Make something up. This is your job to literally create things. You are creative people. That's their task. So it's just they're not utilizing some of their people as well as they could be. You're right, Dan. I guess I should mention in the middle of all this, it's AskTheWarReport@gmail.com, hashtag AskTheWarReport. We will select someone to win a pay-per-view pick'em for WrestleRumble.com. WrestleRumble.com actually did do a Fastlane one. We thought they were taking the month off, but they did Fastlane. WrestleMania is coming up, and that's going to be...
I did on that.
Huge prize list.
See, I was going to say WrestleMania seems like another one. Rumble had some big prizes because, like, the big pay-per-views have big prizes. Bigger. All right, do you know what it is yet, or what are we?
Can you tease
No,
us?
we haven't finalized it, but there's a lot of goodies.
All right, excellent.
I like my chance. Came in 9th, so
yeah.
Amanda, I like the message that you sent to ask me to wake up. That must have been like 10 minutes before the show. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was asleep. Good, good guess. So
wonderful.
I took a nap, which was equivalent to like a quarter or a third of a night's sleep. So I'm good for a couple hours. If anybody wants to do another podcast after we end tonight, no. So Who Tran at Who Tran Superman with 2 U's, HUU Tran Superman. I love this guy already. Predictions and who moves in the Superstar shakeup. God, we haven't even got to WrestleMania yet. Who?
Yeah. Well, I can say this in terms of NXT, right off the bat. I think you got oh shit! Now I'm gonna blank. You got a handful. I think. Gargano.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know about Insanity, but the other two with what's his face's manager.
The Authors of Pain.
The Authors of Pain are coming up. Black is coming up.
Yep.
Cole might come up right away.
Baby.
The only thing is they can't take everybody at once because they got to leave some people in NXT before they start bringing in some newbies.
Well, yeah, but that they've got guys on the hook for NXT. You've got
Jose would be a good one to come up.
Jose would be great. I haven't seen him on TV in a while. I'm a fan of his because he works. He's got a good look, like a unique look.
I like him too.
Yeah, I don't like the baseball punch thing. I think it can do it as a move, but that's not a finisher. I don't know why they decided that as his finisher.
Stereotypical, that's why.
Yeah, a Dominican guy playing baseball, I get it, but isn't that just a teeny bit racist? But we'll just move on from that one. But, so who moves in the Superstar shakeup? Oh man, I feel like you got to switch around some of the top guys.
I think AJ Styles moves back to Raw.
I was thinking AJ goes to Raw and Seth goes to SmackDown, or Dean goes to SmackDown. Seth hasn't been on SmackDown. I think that would be an interesting change.
I'd move Sasha to SmackDown.
Yeah, I'd move Sasha.
She's probably moving.
Into SmackDown too.
They might move Charlotte over to Raw if she loses to Asuka.
She should.
Yeah, I think so too. I think. Well, what do we think is going to happen next week? Speaking of, since Raw happened as well, and we didn't really talk about Raw, but I mean, it's a Raw that there was a couple good promos. I can't say there was a lot happening, but the few things that meant a lot, like the Roman Reigns confrontation with Vince, which I didn't love, but at least it sets up the match.
Gorilla.
Yeah, it was an interesting way to get into that, and then go to commercial. You know, and then Cena's promo was good. Angle had a pretty good promo. I mean, stuff happened on Raw, but like
Alexa Nia, what about that?
Right,
that was great. Brutal, but that was great.
Have you guys seen? Somebody has already clipped together where Charlie Caruso walks in and tells Alexa and Mickey, everybody can hear everything that you've just said. And Alexa turns to the camera, and then they zoom in and play the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme. It was just perfectly timed. It was like, that was a great segment. I didn't quite know where they were going at first. I was like, they're doing the hidden camera. She can still see everything deal. Yeah. Oh no, this is going to be. And listen, Nia, I think she's really improved over the last couple of years, and
Nia's great.
Her tearing up the dressing room like Braun Strowman and screaming, I could get into that. That's a good character for her. Kat, whose power went out, asked if that's the sound she makes when she has an orgasm. So does anybody have thoughts on that?
Oh God.
I don't want to think about that. Actually.
It's not like most orgasms, apparently. But no, so who for the superstar shakeup?
Most girls.
Yes. So who, to answer your question, I think AJ Styles should go to Raw. I think either Dean Ambrose or Seth Rollins should go to SmackDown. Honestly, I'd like to see Rollins, because I think Rollins could be a good world champion.
Well, wait, you're not going to keep the Shield on one show to try and bring them all back together?
Because every time they do that, somebody almost dies.
I was going to say someone dies, and then you take it there.
One of them has the Brady Bunch, the little cursed Hawaiian idol that they keep passing around, and then every time they reform the Shield, somebody gets injured.
Do they keep Balor on Raw then?
No,
you know what? I take it back. Keep the Shield on Raw, all of them.
Yes, I said Balor goes to SmackDown.
Balor Club, move all three of them.
Yes,
move
agreed.
all three, because then Seth can.
But then would you move AJ or keep them?
I move AJ because I would want Finn against Shinsuke as the top program, and then
you
AJ.
have Finn and Shinsuke and AJ.
I know, but I think if you get AJ back over on the red side, he goes right into a program with Reigns, and he's one of the few guys that can get Reigns to wrestle a fucking good match, or anything close to a 4 or 5 star match. Not that again, Reigns isn't a bad worker, but something about working with AJ brings out the best in Roman, which is fantastic. And I think there's a lot of opportunity just to see. There's too much temptation or expectation, maybe, that if you have AJ and Finn and Gallows and Anderson on the same show, you have all of them as the club. So if AJ doesn't join them, people are kind of maybe not like it as much. I don't know. I think if you keep them separate, that ends that question. But you can still have the Balor Club as a trio, as your top heel trio, tag team champs, and do the Shield gimmick, tag team champs and world champion or contender to the world champion going against Shinsuke. Because Shinsuke needs, after him and AJ wrap up, Shinsuke is going to need, because they'll get a rematch, of course, the next pay-per-view. But he needs programs. Who's he going to work with? Dolph Ziggler? God, please shoot me.
No. Please no.
Right. So we do need some shakeups. Oh yeah, and Dolph Ziggler should, in the superstar shakeup, go to NXT.
Oh man,
that would.
He'd actually flourish better in NXT than
I bet you he's gonna say something sarcastic to me on Twitter now. Oh, watch out! Oh God!
He'll block you
for the question. Right? He was just blocked. I haven't been blocked by Goldust, and I think that's because I gave him a ride to the airport one time. I've never said anything bad about Goldust. I just know he's got a short trigger finger for people like that.
You know too much.
He knows too much. Oh, Mike. Hello, Mike. Mike is in love with Amanda and Kat. Is that what happened? Mike in the chat.
Yeah.
I've got screenshots here. Okay.
Ben's got some competition now.
Wow. Well, I thought I had competition when we've got a Canadian guy that lives an hour away from her that's going to steal Amanda away from me. It's a 20-hour car ride. He's just going to charm the shit out of her for 3 days, and then I'm stuck. Although I can still get her citizenship to the U.S. That's the one advantage.
I'm already American.
God damn it.
Just taking all his hopes and dreams.
I know. You're just smashing them. But Mike in the chat was apparently just he's in love with you guys, which is great. I mean, we love you too, but Mike, you know what you should do? Mike, you should sign up for tagmeadate.com. Because I don't know if you've heard, but tagmeadate.com is the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of professional wrestling. With a roster of over 75,000 superstars and divas, you too can find your tag team match. Mike, you can find a tag team match on tagmeadate.com absolutely free. Upload your profile.
Coming soon.
Yes, iPhone and Android. So neither of the sides will be left out. I know there is a great war, wonderful, that is coming. Apple. We didn't even talk about that. We'll get to maybe we'll just brush over that for a second. But just sign up for tagmeadate.com. You can upload profile pictures, or we are the first site in general for social media where you could upload a promo video. Sorry, Zuckerberg, we got there first. Sorry, @Jack at Twitter, we got there first. You can upload a promo video, show off your personality, and hit up the search on tagmeadate.com. You can search by location. You can search by favorite wrestler, favorite pay-per-view, etc. And you can find your tag team partner right there on tagmeadate.com. The messaging is like Facebook messaging. It's integrated into the website. It's not clunky. You can send smiley faces. Like, I'm too old to send smiley faces, but I try. That's the thing. That's what I've learned now. You've got to send a lot of smiley faces in context.
Smiley face.
Right?
Yeah,
the ladies love the smiley faces. That's what I've learned. So go on and send some smiley face. Don't send the winky one. Winky one's a little too. You got to build up to the winky face. You got to, yeah. The winky you got to build to, but everything else is pretty much fair game. Tagmeadate.com is absolutely free. So sign up. Mike, you can even run into Kat. I know Kat has an account. I'm sure Amanda has an account. Listen, Kat may be married and her husband might have a problem with you finding her on tagmeadate.com. But we'll address that when we get to it. So be sure
we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right?
So Amanda, in fairness, because we have multiple Canadians here today, I'm going to let you. I want you to do the couple plugs, the podcast plug for No Holds Bar and the Wrestle Rumble plug. If you can do the plugs, it's Canada Day and Rusev Day all in one.
That's right.
All right, you go first, Kyle.
Okay, I'll go first. I was gonna let you go first.
Yeah, you
get ladies first.
Okay, fine.
There you go.
It's Canadian spirit right here.
So I'm from Wrestle Rumble. You guys should all be sure to go to WrestleRumble.com. We do the best fantasy pick'ems for every pay-per-view.
The other ones are bad.
Next month is WrestleMania, so it's going to be our biggest prize giveaways ever. We have some crazy things going on, so definitely be sure to check it out. And you get 1, 3, 5 entries. So pick how you would pick how Vince McMahon would pick. And then just do a mix-up, which is what I usually do. But it doesn't work for me, so.
And you have to beat. There are a couple people on the leaderboard you have to beat. Specifically, Justin LeBar you have to beat, please. And you have to beat Frank the Clown.
Yeah.
Oh, please,
you got to beat Frank, because how bad will you feel if a fucking clown beats you in a pay-per-view pick'em contest? You got beat by a clown.
I felt pretty bad.
Right. Yeah, right. Ryan, doesn't not feel good. So go to Wrestlemania.com.
Feel good at all.
That should be your marketing. You should talk to Frank. Beat Frank the Clown, and then he could just be really obnoxious on, calling people. Oh, you didn't beat me, man. Oh, that sounds like Sam Roberts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll do this real quick. Eric said to me in the Facebook chat, Sam Roberts' voice is awful, and my response was, Sam Roberts' everything is awful. So that's our commentary on Sam Roberts. Why was he on Talking Smack? I'm sorry. Anyway, here's the guy who should be on Talking Smack, Kyle from No Holds Barred. Tell us a little bit more about your show.
I definitely agree. Sam Roberts, man, coming for your job.
Yes.
But anyways, guys, Kyle Masters here from No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian wrestling podcast. We talk NXT, we talk WWE news, and we have no holds barred on anything we say, and that is pun intended. You can follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/NHBWR. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio if you want to listen to us on the go. We're also available on Spreaker, which is a glorious podcast.
Glorious.
That is available for all Android and Apple devices too. It's free to download, free to make a profile. You can chat with us when we're live on the air, and you can listen to all previous episodes of the podcast.
Sweet. So we really appreciate you coming on, because it's always nice to have another knowledgeable voice on here, bringing opinions and insight into it.
I'm very honored.
You can come back anytime you want. Feel free.
Sweet.
Amanda just kind of stumbled upon the podcast one time, and she's been on for a fucking year. So I mean, we can just we acquire people like that. It's wonderful. We do, because she wasn't even. This was started as the tagmeadate.com crew. And then Wrestle Rumble, it kind of got folded in. So it was like
my way in there.
Yeah, she over the border, typical Canadian. No. She sneaks her way in like a sneaky. Is that a stereotype for Canadians? Sneaky Canadians? I don't think that's a thing.
I think you're good.
Yeah, good. We're not stereotyping sneaky Canadians. But yeah, so we definitely enjoy having another knowledgeable person on here with experience in doing the podcasting. So we'll definitely check out your stuff. I will go follow all of your accounts now that I know what they are. NHBWR. It took me a second to realize it was the abbreviation. I was like, oh, it's all consonants. and then I realized what it was. That's perfect. So we'll definitely follow you guys. No Holds Barred Wrestling Radio. Go for it. As he said, if you didn't hear the plug, rewind a couple seconds. This is the internet. Just hit that button and go back 15 seconds. He'll do the plug over again for you. Go visit their social media. And of course, check out tagmeadate.com. At tagmeadate is our social media. Hashtag AskTheWarReport if you want your question asked on and answered on air to enter our Wrestle Rumble pay-per-view pick'em. So the best question, or the question we decide is the best question every month. There's no real it's like the WWE Hall of Fame. We don't really have a criteria. We just pick a question we happen to like, and then you win a pay-per-view pick'em from WrestleRumble.com. So apps for Tag Me a Date coming soon. In the meantime, it's absolutely available on your desktop and your mobile device. It works just fine on the iPhone, or you just put it in your browser, man. Tagmeadate.com. It is free to sign up, so sign up at Tag Me a Date. Follow us on social media at Tag Me a Date, and be sure to go to YouTube on Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. It was just daylight savings. We were talking about this a couple weeks. We said, look it up. It's coming. Be prepared. I hope you were prepared. If you weren't and you missed it, here's how you can be prepared. You go to youtube.com. You type Tag Me a Date in the search bar. Tag Me a Date. Squish it all together. Don't put any spaces. So it's Tag Me a Date. And you'll see the Tag Me a Date YouTube account. Please subscribe and then hit the bell. Subscribing is fantastic because it does put you our videos in your subscriptions tab. But the only way you know that we are currently broadcasting is if you hit the bell. They send an alert right to your phone. So when we go live, you don't have to worry about whether or not there's daylight savings time and we've messed up your schedule if you live somewhere else. Just follow right. Yeah, you just subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll be there for you in your phone. It's always kind of weird to think, someone's watching your face in their phone miles and miles away from you, but that's what it is. So we're here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Eastern time. And again, you adjust that for your time zone, or just subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. So we'll be back next Tuesday. Again, we can't thank you enough, Kyle, from No Holds Barred Wrestling Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm sure we'll have you back. We should do a now. See, this is being really ambitious and planning out in advance. But I'm going to be in New Orleans. Kat's going to be in New Orleans. Kyle's going to be in New Orleans. If we can somehow wrangle Amanda into going, we can have like a little WrestleMania podcast and stream it. And do like
interview people in the crowd.
Yeah, we could do like a pre or a post WrestleMania show, because I'm going to be there on Monday, so we could always talk on Monday about what happened. Yeah, like a little post show.
If you guys actually can do it, and you let me know what time, I can set it up on this end, and I can stream from here and connect.
Look at that.
That would be pretty cool.
The world is beautiful, but we have to go to. Wait, Steve, do we have any friends or sponsors that sell tickets? Because I don't want to say the wrong one and have somebody be mad. So when I say, Amanda, you should go to blankblank.com to look for tickets, who should she be looking for?
Immortal Seats.
Immortal Seats. There we go. I knew I had to make sure to say the right name. That's why I asked.
Absolutely.
Looking Immortal Seats for resellers to see who's selling WrestleMania tickets, and come with us. It's fun. And even if you don't get a ticket, just drive down. I'm sure there'll be some weirdo scalping tickets outside before the show. Isn't that how it works?
I love the weirdos.
The ones in New Orleans are great. They spray paint themselves silver and stand there still like statues. They have the street performers in New Orleans are fantastic. So I can't wait. But thank you, Kyle. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Follow us on social media and all that stuff. Go listen to No Holds Barred. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday, 7 p.m. right here on YouTube. Thanks for listening.
Oh.